Hello, everybody, and welcome to our webinar, where we will be introducing you to Hotel 101, a brand new investment opportunity in some of the most interesting and attractive cities for global investors at the moment. Myself and as well as everybody on this webinar today are like-minded, internationally focused investors, and this is a unique, really super interesting opportunity. So I will be introducing Catherine Chan. She's the Chief Development Officer of Hotel 101, as well as Jane Wang, who is the Director of Sales for Asia Pacific region. So what we will do is introduce my company, and then I'm going to hand this over to the main attraction, Catherine and Jane, to go into their presentation. So a quick introduction of who we are. I'm one of the co-founders for Global Mortgage Group. We were founded in 2019 to solve the problem of securing a residential mortgage where you don't live. So we have a number of well-known investors. There on the screen, you can see the markets in which we offer financing. We also are a bank ourselves, so we lend directly in the US. And more importantly, and I think this has some application to the Hotel 101 story, is what we can do is take out home equity or bridging loans out of the equity of your home towards other investment purposes. And you can kind of see where I'm going with this. So that's all I'm going to say. For now, my contact details are there. I'm going to hand this over to Catherine and Jane so we can get right into the main course.
All right. Thank you, Donald. We are super excited to be here today. I just wanted to thank you, Global Mortgage Group and the team, for giving us this platform to really tell our story. As Donald mentioned, we think that we have a very nice product, and we're super excited to be sharing with you all today. So we'll keep this session hopefully super, animated. And if Donald and anybody has questions, feel free to ask throughout our presentation. So without further ado, I'm going to start. If today you were to look on your Apple iPhone or your global app store on Google, for example, and you type in Hotel 101, you'll actually see Hotel 101 Global, HBNB. Now, HBNB is actually our ticker symbol because we're going public on NASDAQ end of this year. All right, next slide. Yes. So I think what's really important, we're going to go back one slide.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. So really important is to show who's the backbone of our company, right? So here I'm introducing our two co-founders, Mr. Edgar Injapsia on the left-hand side and Mr. Tony Tan Kachong on the right-hand side. So these two principal shareholders actually created our parent company, which is Double Dragon Corporation. And Double Dragon has been listed on the Philippine Stock Exchange since 2014. Now, Hotel 101 is a subsidiary of Double Dragon, but we're actually headquartered in Singapore, and we're going to be listed on NASDAQ end of this year independently.
And just to give everybody a real on-the-ground experience, I'm actually conducting this webinar in the Philippines at the moment. So
very cool. All right. So Mr. Tony Tan Kachong is probably the more famous of our two founders. So he's the founder of Jollibee Group. So if you guys are, from Asia, I'm sure that you've heard of Jollibee, but many people don't know that the Jollibee Group also includes Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf. So we own Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf globally, Team Ho-Wan outside of Hong Kong, Yonghe Da Wong, Tiong Bahru Bakery, Coffee Man, Coffee Roasters, Highlands Coffee if you've been to Vietnam, Smash Burger if you've been to the US, and of course Burger King and Yoshinoya in the Philippines. Mr. Edgar Xia on the right-hand side, he is famous for Mang Inasal. So Donald, you're in the Philippines right now. I'm sure that you've seen many Mang Inasals in the country. So he actually created with his first franchise in 2003 and almost, 600 stores today. And really, Mr. Xia, he will say his grilled chicken is good, but how he really captured the hearts of the Filipinos was offering all you can eat rice. So think about that for a second, right? Offering all you can eat rice, who does it capture? Really the mass market. So he was really able to grow that brand exponentially. He also owns Mary Mart, which is also publicly listed on the Philippine Stock Exchange since 2020. So the two gentlemen, the reason why they've created a company called Double Dragon is because both gentlemen were born in the year of the dragon, 24 years apart. So that's a little trivia for you. Now, Double Dragon Corporation has over $3.1 billion in total assets. Now, when we went public in 2014, we essentially had no assets under management. We had $10 million in total equity. But our IPO was actually oversubscribed because people really believed in the vision of our chairman. We grew 150 times to today of over $1.4 billion in total equity. Within Double Dragon, we're the #1 provincial mall developer. We have 45 community malls in the Philippines. We have 9 office towers. So we actually created the second REIT with our office towers in the Philippines. We also have over 60 hectares of industrial land for industrial warehousing and leasing. And of course, now we're expanding into hotels. So within hotels, we have 7 operating hotels. We actually have 2 operating Hotel101. We own the master franchise for Jinjiang Inn. Jinjiang is one of the largest hotel operators in China. So we have the master franchise license in the Philippines. And we also have our own Injap Tower Hotel under our chairman's name. So if you look at the image in the back, that's actually our Double Dragon headquarters. And next to it on the right-hand side, you'll actually see our first Hotel101 in Manila that was opened back in 2017. All right. So Hotel101, the concept really came about because our chairman had a vision that within the value segment, right? A segment that they have long been in with their fast food retail business. Value segment is all about standardization because standardization brings, efficiency, unbeatable efficiency, as well as cost savings. But if you look in the hospitality industry, there really is no standardization. You might say, oh, one of our competitors might be, I don't want to say any names, but they might be considered standardized in the hotel industry. But I can guarantee you, if you think of that brand in a market like Shanghai, it could be a 5-star hotel, and that same brand in Manalapan, New Jersey could be barely a 3-star hotel. So there really is no standardization in the hospitality industry. And we really want to be the first disruptors of the industry to come up with our very first global hotel room that will be consistent no matter where we go in the world. And that's our happy room. So if you look here, this is a standardized room that is essentially the same no matter where you are in the world. You can come visit us in Manila or in Singapore. We have a show unit that we can showcase for you how this room really is, right? So it's 21 square meters. We've done a lot of R&D to find that proper configuration for that value segment, mid-scale 3-star hotel market. So we always have 1 queen bed, 1 single bed. So I'm sure that many of you have stayed in hotels where it's really annoying when 2 guests stay in a room, and the moment you add a 3rd additional guest, you get charged much more, right? So our standard room is standard for 3 guests. We also have, the standard 55-inch television. We use a Emma sleep mattress, which is from Germany. But people love the fact that we have a kitchenette. So if you look at the lower left-hand corner, you actually see that we have a little kitchenette that has an extra sink, a microwave, and a fridge. Now, people love the fact that we have a kitchenette because our chairman was very, very adamant that we have this kitchenette because he really want to make sure that people who are in the mid-scale, the mass market, that they don't necessarily have to eat out every single day, right? They can also buy something and then bring it back to the room, microwave it, and eat it. So again, he's always thinking about the mass market and the common man. So on the left-hand side, you'll actually see all the awards that we've won in the industry with different OTAs. We're not new to this industry, so we actually have hotels that we've opened and that are operating very successfully. So our first prototype hotel is Hotel101 in Manila. You'll see here, we've been operating since 2017. And for the last 7 years, we've been averaging 83% occupancy. For those of you who understand the hospitality industry, this is really, really good occupancy level. In fact, if you look at it, in 2021, we've actually hit 96% occupancy. And that's the reason for that is because that was when Philippines introduced the mandatory quarantine. And people were choosing to stay in our hotel because if they were going to be locked up, they want to make sure that they have a kitchenette inside and they can, heat up their own food. On the right-hand side, you'll see An example, we're Booking.com. We're the #1 most booked hotel in Metro Manila, #1 most booked hotel in Pasay City. We're the 2024 highest rated hotel chain.
I have to do a brief plug for Hotel 101. So yesterday I hosted dinner with my staff who live outside of Manila. And because of traffic was so bad, I said, you guys book a hotel room and, we'll reimburse you. And they obviously didn't know this webinar was going on. And all of them booked Hotel 101. Not kidding you.
Oh, wow. Thanks,
Yeah.
Donald, for that plug-in. We promise we did not pay him to say that. That's great to know. So if you look at the upper side of the slide, you'll see that we really see ourselves as, a blend between a 3-star hotel and a 5-star hotel. So we're a 3-star hotel in the sense that we price ourselves as a 3-star hotel. But in terms of amenities and facilities, we really see ourselves as a 5-star hotel. So we build large scale hotels, okay? And that's where we can find that cost economies of scale. So we can actually build out our amenities and facilities that is way beyond a typical 3-star that you imagine today. We will always have 24/7 front desk, all day dining, on-site convenience store. And again, I want to bring back our chairman because he said a convenience store is super important for that 3-star hotel guest because again, they don't always have the luxury to eat out all the time. He wants to make sure that they have access to cheaper food that they can also bring into the rooms to eat. So again, we have fitness gyms, swimming pools, business centers, children's playground, laundry area, and daily housekeeping. So if you look at the bottom photos, there are actually renderings from our Hotel 101 Madrid project. You'll see in the middle picture, not only do we have 1 swimming pool, we actually have 2. So 1 for adults and 1 for children.
Catherine, let me just interject really quickly because we're getting into some of the really interesting aspects of the story. I just want to remind the audience that if you have any questions during the slides, we want to make this interactive. Go to the chat box, ask the questions, and we'll ask them, when we see them. Because sometimes you have inspiration, you have an idea on one side, and then by the end you may have forgotten. But we want to make sure this is super interactive and we can be there when you have, your questions. So if you have them, write them down and we'll answer the questions as we go.
Thank you. All right, so a lot of people ask me, what's behind the name Hotel 101? So really, it's a homage to university courses. So English 101, History 101. Yep. So Hotel 101 is really about bringing back the investing into hotels to its basics. We've kept the model super, super simple and transparent for our unit owners. Room revenue comes in, 30% automatically goes to all the unit owners. Hotel 101 keeps the lion's share because we cover all the costs, all the maintenance, operational expenses, repairs, property management fee, service charge. So all the cost of operating the hotel, we will cover it. So if the bed suddenly breaks, we'll cover it. If the microwave breaks, we'll cover it. The only thing that the unit owner has to care for are their own taxes. Now, you would have to pay taxes no matter what real estate you invest in anyways, and everybody has their own individual tax circumstances. So that's the only thing that the unit owners have to care for themselves. We've kept it simple because the distribution of the 30% to the unit owners are also distributed equally, all unit owners. We're gonna have to, sorry, Donald, I'm gonna need you to.
Sorry, I sneezed and I accidentally, sorry.
That's okay. So it's distributed equally to all unit owners. So Donald, don't fret. If your unit doesn't get rented out as much as Jane's, it doesn't matter because everybody shares equally. Okay? And it gets paid out monthly every 16th of the month. Now, we also want to make sure that we give back to our unit owners, right? We want to build an ecosystem of people who love Hotel 101. So not only are you a unit owner, we'll also give you back 10 days a year to use in the hotels. So 10 free nights, 5 in the hotel that you've invested in, and 5 anywhere in the world. Now, our ticker symbol is HBNB. The reason is really we're marrying the concept of hotel and rental property, okay? So BNB is like if you were to buy a rental property that you put on a platform like Airbnb. But the problem with that is it's troublesome. There's no predictability. It's an active investment that you constantly have to manage, right? And I myself, as an example, when I invested my properties in London during COVID, I had squatters. I had a broken dishwasher, even though there's nobody renting my other apartment. It can be quite a handful, right? Then there are those who can afford a hotel, which many of us probably don't. We don't have $30 million lying around. And so being able to marry the concept of a hotel and a rental property, we're really creating this HBNB, which is a bite-sized branded hotel investment. So anybody could invest in a hotel and diversify their portfolio. Professionally managed, consistent, predictable. You actually own a freehold title deed. So this is not timeshare, it's not fractionals. You actually own the deed to your unit and you collect passive income. So again, I'm going to bring you back to our very first hotel, which is Hotel 101 Manila. For the past, 7 years, average occupancy of 7%. And I just want to highlight, most of our operations has been during COVID. Now, the numbers kind of stay stagnant and stable, but actually, had the market been normal, the numbers should theoretically keep going up. Why? Average daily rates year on year has been increasing in a normal market. Unit investors only take, they only, bear into the gross revenue income, but they don't actually have to participate in the cost. Cost is also going up year over year. But as a unit investor, you're actually not you're not relying, you don't need to bear into that cost. You only get to benefit from the year-on-year increase in average daily rates of hotels. If you look at the occupancy, we've averaged 83%, but last year we actually hit 86%. So if you look at the returns on investment, last year was 7.56%, average occupancy 86%. Hotel 101 Manila is a great example of a very successful case study. And again, we've won many awards in our value segment industry for the hotel that we've opened. Now, we are going public on NASDAQ because we really see ourselves as a hospitality company backed by technology. We want to make sure that as a unit investors, you can be able to have, on your app, be able to manage your investment, be able to see, what was the occupancy rate of last year, what was the gross room revenue that's going to be shared amongst all the unit owners. And as a hotel guest, you want to be able to, upload your passport, check into your hotel, open your door with your app, be able to, contact housekeeping if you need, be able to check out. So we really want to make sure that we streamline the operation so that's super easy for our hotel guests as well. Now, again, to clarify, in our hotel network and pipeline, we have 15 hotels. We have 7 hotels operational, 3 hotels that will be international. So the first one will be Hotel 101 Niseko. Second will be Hotel 101 Madrid, which Jane will go into more detail in a bit. And then our third project internationally will be Hotel 101 Los Angeles, and that will actually be launching next year. So very quickly, Hotel 101 Manila on the left, Hotel 101 Fort, which is in BGC, the very nice area of Manila. Hotel 101 Niseko, 482 keys. Hotel 101 Madrid, 680 keys. We are a very sustainable company, so we will actually be LEED certified for Hotel 101 Madrid, and we are already CASB certified for Hotel 101 Niseko. We have big ambition. We need to build 1 million rooms by 2050, be present in over 100 countries, and be a top 5 hotel global brand in the near future. And this is the president of NASDAQ actually visiting our office. So that's Hannah, our CEO, and Injap, our chairman. And also the NASDAQ Tower congratulating us for coming into Los Angeles and for going public on NASDAQ later this year. All right, now I'm going to pass it over to my colleague Jane, and she'll give you more detail into each of our projects.
All right, thank you very much, Catherine. So, well, I'm sure everyone is very excited right now to hear a little bit more about the two first global projects that we have. So, without further ado, I'm just going to bring you to Niseko, Japan. So, as mentioned by Catherine earlier, Niseko Hotel 101 is the first ever CASB certified project in Niseko, Japan, and we're very happy to announce that because really at Hotel101 Global, we aim to make all our projects, like to be built and operated within the highest environmental standards. We're really high on sustainability. So Niseko, Japan is actually located in the prefecture of Hokkaido, and it's actually in the southwestern coast of Hokkaido. Hokkaido has a population of about 5 million people, but winter, as like Niseko is really well known as a winter resort destination. Currently, right now, to access to Niseko, the nearest airport would be New Chitose Airport. And once you reach the airport, it's 2 hours drive to reach Niseko, Japan. So if you were to go to Sapporo, you can actually take almost also about 2 hours to drive from Sapporo, or the train takes you about 3 hours and 45 minutes to reach the nearest town, which is Kuchan Station. And thereafter, it's an 8 minutes drive to get to Niseko Hotel 101. So we know that, we are all aware that Niseko, Japan is a winter destination, but what a lot of people are not aware that Niseko is actually a lifestyle destination all year round. Donna, if I just can trouble you to go to the next slide.
Oh, sure.
Sorry, I don't think I have control. Yeah.
Okay.
So, all right.
Okay.
Yeah, so Niseko is actually a 365 days all year lifestyle destination. Of course, winter-wise, everyone knows that, like winter sports is very famous there. Niseko is also kind of known as the Aspen of Asia. Okay, but what a lot of people do not know that during summer season, there are many, many activities that families and people can actually do in Niseko. Sorry, next slide, please. Yeah. All right. Can we move on to the next slide? Yeah.
Sorry. Oops.
All right.
There we go.
All right. So in summer itself, okay, there are many activities that you can do, okay, and that includes, okay, I think I can try to control the screen myself. Awesome. Okay, so you can actually do river rafting, kayaking, play golf, watch the cherry blossoms. There is also a very famous zip line, bath in onsen, enjoy many adventure parks and camping with, especially for kids during summer in Niseko. So with Niseko itself, really like the average temperature all year round is about 20 degrees even at the hottest in summer. So many people actually choose to visit Niseko also in spring and summer season because, when it gets really, really hot in the countries that they live in, Niseko would really be a good place for them to do summer activities, but yet, like in a very nice cool weather. All right, coming to Niseko Hotel 101, we broke ground last year in August, and currently right now, progress of the construction is really going very well. In fact, I think about 5-10 minutes just before we started the webinar, we just got the latest construction photos today. Well, unfortunately, it was too tight for me to put into these slides, but if you're keen, just PM us and GMG, and then we'll be very happy to share with you the latest construction photographs. Yeah, so as mentioned by Catherine, we have 482 rooms in Hotel 101 Niseko, estimated to be completed by December 2026. So we are currently about 2.5 years from construction completion. In terms of parking, right, we do have a very extensive parking space for Niseko Hotel 101. Okay, I need to highlight this because, right, if you are familiar with Niseko, if you look at all the properties, big and small, be it Airbnb or hotels over there, they really have a lack of parking spaces. And why is parking spaces so important is because, right, during spring and summer season, there are many domestic travelers from within Hokkaido itself, and they do drive themselves to Niseko for, a weekend getaway or for holiday. So when it comes to, like visitors who will be the ones that staying at a hotel, that we become, much of a prime choice for them to choose because we have really very good parking spaces available within the hotel itself. All right. Okay, I also would like to take this time to introduce you our main contractor. So as you know, we are in the mid-scale hotel segment, but the partners that we work with, the contractors that we have selected are really top-notch contractors. So Iwata Chizaki is our contractor for Niseko, Japan. They are the largest contractor in Hokkaido with more than 100 years of, being in the business. So they have actually really good track record, and they have actually built many notable works that includes the Tokyo Haneda Airport, the new Chitose Airport, all constructed by Iwata Chizaki. So you can be rest assured that the quality of the development is going to be of a very solid standard. Also, we have an asset management company, external third-party asset management company that is managing, our assets. So it gives assurance to, the investors that their deposits and all the payments that they make towards their investment is sound. So EGW, Eastgate Asset Management, is the company that helps us. They are one of the largest privately owned asset management company in Japan with more than 10 years in business. Yeah. In terms of facilities for Hotel 101, you've probably seen earlier in the slides that we have many common facilities seen across all our projects. But just to highlight to you some of the unique features that Hotel 101 Niseko has, we do have a hot mineral bath and an indoor swimming pool and sauna at Hotel 101 Niseko. So when we open our doors for operation, we will be the second hotel in Niseko to have an indoor swimming pool. The other hotel that currently has a swimming pool is actually Park Hyatt, which is a 5-6-star hotel currently. So of course, the usual, other winter resort hotels, we also do have, such as ski lockers, luggage storage, laundry rooms, even, extra facilities such as business center, private dinings. So this is actually really, again, quite important because during summer season, there are many companies who actually travel to Niseko, Japan for golf tournaments. And, these people might need facilities such as, business centers, private dining rooms, etc. So this will become, we will become one of the better choices for them when it comes to choosing a mid-scale hotel, but with facilities that is required for company events, right? So this is just some of the CGIs that we have. I'm going to quickly just run through them. And these are the photographs taken recently over the course of us breaking ground. And this is the actual site of Niseko Hotel 101, the bottom left picture, with the views of the Hirafu slopes during the winter season. This was sometime in February, March this year. And this is our team, visiting the site, and our CEO and our founders, Mr. Edgar Sia, visiting the site of Hotel 101 Niseko. So this picture was taken in March this year. You can see that, there's still some snow, and this was our construction progress in March. And then a couple of months later, this is some site progress taken June 2024 this year. So now, recently, the photos that we've taken today, right, you can see that, right, you can't see the ground anymore, actually, hardly. So foundations are well along the way, and we're really happy and excited to actually receive those photographs. Okay, in terms of projections, I mean, of course, we're talking about investments, right? And investment for real estate, we always talk about rental yields, rental returns. So, of course, people are always concerned about what kind of occupancy projections will we be having for Hotel 101 Niseko. So if you look at the comparison chart over here, so our comparison is towards the mid-scale hotels that is found in Niseko, Japan at this very moment, which is not many to begin with, okay? And especially we have one hotel right beside Hotel 101 Niseko that's called Midtown Niseko. So Midtown Niseko is actually owned by Lee Ka-shing's son, Richard Lee, okay? And they are also in the mid-scale hotel segment. So last year alone, they had an average daily rate of 25,000 yen and an occupancy of 80%. And in terms of offering, right, I would say that our facilities offering will be a lot more extensive when we are ready to start operations compared to Midtown Niseko and many of the other mid-scale hotels in the vicinity and in the Niseko area itself. So I would say that with a projected average daily rate of 20,000, we are being quite conservative in terms of our numbers. So if you look at this table over here, okay, based on just 20,000 yen daily rate, okay, and the 30% gross room revenue sharing, our unit owners, okay, are expected to receive anything from between 4.5 to 6% based on, 70 to 80% occupancy rates. Again, I would say that these are really very conservative projections. Of course, year on year, there will also be, like daily price rate increase because we are still 2.5 years away from the completion of Niseko Hotel 101. All right. Now, I'm sure everybody is also curious to know about the price of Hotel 101 Niseko. So the good thing about us is, I would say we are quite unique by all, not because we only have one type of signature room, the happy room. We also only have one pricing for every development that we build. So for Hotel 101 Niseko, it is currently now priced at 37,660,000 yen per unit. Okay. We have also included in this all the acquisition tax that people and acquisition costs that you have to pay when you purchase a property in Niseko, Japan. So that includes a 8% consumption tax as well as a 4% closing fee, bringing the total amount to 43,179,000, which is equivalent to approximately about USD 286,000. Yeah, so I would have to say, in terms of the absolute quantum price, we are really at the affordable mid-scale range. We also do have very attractive payment terms, 6 payment terms all in all. I know that the slide is a little bit small. You might not be able to see everything very clearly, but feel free, to ask us offline, take this offline or put it in the Q&A or come to us individually. I think Donald and his team will be very happy to answer any of the questions regarding payment terms and, how you should proceed.
So I'd like to add something here. Obviously this is not financing, it's payment terms, but that also means that you guys are a hybrid financing some of these units for your clients. I will say having this type of option in Niseko is very rare. So being able to take advantage of the payment terms for owning an asset in Niseko is a real plus.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Donald. And also, right, if I just may highlight, our longest payment term is over an 8-year period, and we don't actually collect interest from our investors. So it's actually 0 interest over a 96 months repayment with only a 10% down payment. So this kind of payment option is really, really attractive. You are kind of buying into today's pricing, yeah, and really taking advantage of also the attractive yen currency right now. Okay, so the next one I'm going to showcase to you is Hotel 101 Madrid in Spain. This is our second overseas project. So Madrid, Spain, as in Hotel 101 Madrid is located in Valdebebas area. So Valdebebas is actually a key area that the Madrid government is spending a lot of resources to develop, and it's one of the current most, highly sought after areas due to the, significant price increase on a year-to-year because it's an up and coming area. So Valdebebas is located north of the city of the Madrid city. Okay, it is the closest residential area to Madrid's airport. Approximately, we are about our hotel is about 8 minutes drive to the Madrid International Airport. Yeah, and currently right now, right, 200 million euros is actually spent to expand the Madrid metro system, okay, to bring about more connectivity to the Valdebebas region. Not just because, Valdebebas is an up and coming area, but also because, we foresee that there are more residential homes and more commercials that's coming up here. So more population and hence, the upgrading of the metro system is required. Okay, if we just look at this left-hand side small little map over here, you can see that, right, this is where Hotel 101 Madrid is. We're kind of like in the middle of the Valdebebas region. So the whole area is Valdebebas. Okay, and on the right-hand side, right, next to Hotel 101 Madrid is the new Justice Campus. So the Justice Campus, right, is going to house many of the judicial courts as well as the legal, law firms once it's completed. Many of them are going to be moving to this area to place their offices. So again, we're seeing a trend of, the judicial, the legal and the law people moving to the Valdebebas region. There is also going to be a new shopping center in the Justice Campus area as well. The shopping center is going to be approximately about 146,000 square meter. It's quite big. Okay, currently right now, right, existingly, okay, if you look at the map again, adjacent to Hotel 101 Madrid is the Real Madrid training facility. So the Real Madrid Sports Training Center is humongous. It's actually bigger than the Forbidden City and the Vatican City itself. Okay, there is room for people to watch soccer matches. It can actually house about 11,000 spectators. So people do come here to watch football matches and soccer matches as well. So further down to the south of Hotel 101 Madrid, you can see that there is a convention center over here. I'm going to talk a little bit about more on IFEMA Convention Center because that's one of the key drivers and the reason why, one of the main reasons why, like we have decided to invest in a piece of land in Valdebebas area. Okay, Formula One. Okay, this is quite exciting because after we bought the piece of land in Madrid, we realized that, Formula One is moving to Madrid from Barcelona. So Formula One has signed a 10-year contract from 2026 to 2035 to host their future Formula One race in Madrid, and we're kind of right in along the tracks of the Formula One racing. Yeah, so it's very, very exciting because as we know, Formula One will bring about, like a significant increase of traffic footfall, tourist visitors. There's going to be concerts held, like during the F1 weekend. So it will drive, like occupancy of hotels as well as the daily rates very much higher, right, when during the F1 season. So if you look at this map, so we especially went to, like highlight the F1 tracks. So you can see that Hotel 101 is kind of like just right beside the F1 track. So this F1 track, right, is going to be half street racing and half private tracks created just for the F1 alone. And recently they've also announced that if the F1 is not happening, they will be using this track for other racing purposes. So you can actually expect to have more activities, like racing related and events related to be held in this area. And this is really absolutely great, awesome news for Hotel 101 Madrid. Okay, so just now, earlier on, I mentioned that, like IFEMA Convention Center was one of the key reasons why, like we really thought that this having hotel here would bring about high occupancy levels, because IFEMA Convention Center is the largest convention center in Spain and the top 5 convention centers in Europe at the moment. And on top of that, IFEMA Convention Center is going to build an extension which will span about 240,000 square meters of new exhibition spaces. So currently, each year, more than 800 trade fairs, conferences, big and small, held in IFEMA Convention Center, and 4 million visitors visit this convention center yearly. Imagine 4 million people. If I were to just divide this on the monthly basis, we have close to about 300 over 1,000 people visiting the IFEMA Convention Center. And these are exhibitors and people who travel there for work. So I'm sure, like all of us on this webinar today, I think many people travel, like regularly for work. And you know that when you are there for work, you want to be located as near to the place where you're going to be situated every day. So around the IFEMA Convention Center region, if I add everything up all together, there isn't many hotels. So we know that the demand for hotels in this area is going to be huge. Coming to Hotel 101 Madrid, okay, so we have a total of 680 rooms. We broke ground this year, 13th of March, and estimated completion for Hotel 101 Madrid is going to be the end of next year, December 2025. So Madrid, even though it's our second project, it's going to be completed 1 year before Niseko, because, Niseko being an extreme winter location, there are certain months where, construction cannot be done. Yeah. So Madrid has a total of 9 floors, 8 stories with an underground basement, and also plenty of parking spaces available here as well. So who have we chosen as an architect? So WSP is the architect for Hotel 101 Madrid. They started in New York. They really have, a very vast presence, especially in Latin America, in the US, in the Europe region. Yeah, they have like really professional expertise, which is why we've selected them to be the architects for Madrid. So some of the works that as done by WSP includes Soho Beijing, the One World Trade Center, and the Guangzhou CTF Finance Center. Again, we really want to work with the best. So when it comes to selecting of the contractor, well, needless to say, we also selected one of the leading infrastructure contractors, Ferrovial. Okay, they are actually on, the Spain's blue chip index, and they have many notable works as well, including the Heathrow Airport, Terminal 5, as well as the Farringdon Station in London, are all done by Ferrovial. So we really want to work with notable, highly reputable partners in ensuring that the quality of the developments that we produce for our investors is of the highest quality. So these are some of the CGIs of Madrid that you can see, the 2 swimming pools that Catherine has mentioned, as well as our swimming pool bar, cafe, all-day dining restaurant, lobby, as well as the lift lobby areas. So these are just some of the construction photos. This is taken during our groundbreaking, where we had our founders, both Mr. Edgar Injapsia and Mr. Tony Tan, along with our CEO, and also the Philippine ambassador to Spain, there to officiate the groundbreaking. And these are some of the latest construction photographs taken just a couple of days ago on 20th of August. So we are on track. In fact, we are 2 weeks ahead of construction. So I think we are well underway when it comes to this, right? Okay, so earlier on, I've mentioned within 3 kilometers of IFEMA Convention Center, there is not a lot of hotels. So we've done a summary of the big and small hotels combined together just within the 3-kilometer radius. And you can see that if I were to add up all the rooms combined, probably we have about close to 2,800 rooms. And this kind of numbers, I don't think is going to be enough to cater to the demand required for the visitors who are going there for work. So, well, I guess this will definitely bring about a good opportunity, especially for investors who wants to have a piece of Madrid's property. Okay, coming to projected revenue. So we are projecting to have our daily rate for Madrid to be 150 euros a night. Okay, and in terms of the rental returns, if you look at anything from between like 70 to 80%, unit owners can expect a 6.8% to 7% projected rental return when we are ready to operate. Again, just to highlight, these numbers, the yields that you're seeing is net before you income tax. This is because, right, all the costs of hotel operations, housekeeping is all borne by Hotel101 already. So in terms of pricing, we are at 188,800 euros per unit. Again, one price for the whole same price for any unit regardless of which facing which floor at Hotel101 Madrid. So this includes acquisition costs, which will be the VAT of 21% and a 4% closing fee. I mean, these are all the legal fees involved, bring the grand total to 236,000 euros. Okay, just to highlight, the VAT and the consumption tax for Niseko, both of them, you can actually claim it back from the relevant, government body after the completion of the property. It's just a cost that investors have to pay upfront, and after which you can actually seek for refund from the authorities. So again, we have 4 different payment options, cash payments, and also, like installment plans for investors to choose from. And it's interest-free as well. All right. Okay, we've actually come to the end of the presentation. Are we going into the Q&A right now?
Yes, let's do that. I want to add one thing. So I was actually in Madrid in June. I actually was in Madrid and Barcelona. And I have to say, and I'm not saying this because we're doing this presentation, it was so clean, so safe. And this is somebody that lives in Singapore. You can almost feel the potential Madrid has because it's affordable, it's a global city, it's great food, the weather's amazing. And you could see, it becoming a major destination in the future.
You're right. I did my MBA in Madrid, and I will move back there in a heartbeat. So I'm going to be there in end of September. So if any of your clients will want to come visit, please let us know, and we'll gladly take them to our office in Salamanca.
Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing screen now, and then we're going to go directly into the Q&A. And the format that we'll do is that I will read the questions, and to the extent that I can answer them, I will, but I will, if they're specific to Hotel 101, obviously I'm going to hand it over to the experts and for Catherine to answer. All right, we're in business. Okay, first question. How to choose which units to rent out? Would we be in the know? Because there is a possibility that we fall on the 15% unoccupied units, right? What happens then?
Okay, first of all, I'm not quite sure what the 15% unoccupied units mean, but essentially because it's pooled revenue, so like I said earlier, it doesn't matter, Donald, if your unit gets rented out less than Jane's unit, everybody shares equally and it's averaged out amongst everyone. So it doesn't matter which room gets rented out, everybody shares equally, so it's super fair.
All right, I think this could be from the same potential client. Would I be able to select units that get booked often, i.e. seafront, mountain view, etc.?
So again, you don't need to choose a unit that is more attractive to rent out, but we do have buyers that choose, you get to choose your own unit where you want to buy. So essentially from a rental perspective, it doesn't matter because it's pool revenue. Everybody gets, to share in the same revenue and split equally. But if you have a preference for a certain type, certain facing units, you actually get to choose your unit. So you do own room 201, for example.
I have a question kind of along the same note, and this is kind of for personal curiosity. So I'm allotted 10 nights per year, 5 in which in the property that I choose. Are those 5 nights in the unit that I buy? Okay, so it
No,
doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Got it.
You
Okay.
you can choose to request for that particular room. And then if it's available, it'll be given to you. But most of our unit owners don't care. They just want to be able to use,
Yep.
in the hotel.
Okay, cool. Next question. Are there different size units that we can purchase, or all the units the same size?
Well, that's the beauty of Hotel 101, right? It's standardized. So there's only one type of room, 21 square meter happy rooms. Simple.
All right. Next question. Thanks for all the questions, by the way. This is really, really useful. Question is, can ownership be a US LLC or offshore company or family trust? We get these questions often. Anything that has to do with minimizing tax liabilities in your company or structuring things, we always say go speak to your accountant or your lawyer. However, yes, the ownership can be in an offshore vehicle. It's fairly common. But again, I'd highly recommend, to follow up and we can kind of get into the nitty-gritty separately. Am I able to reserve my own room or is it always rented?
I think that was your question, Donald.
Yeah, sorry, Michael. I think I front run your question. Okay. The next one is, must the room be rented? Possible to purchase it for our own use without renting it out at all?
Well, you could. So we do have a different pricing though for owners who want to purchase for their self-use, and it's almost double the price. So most of our investors choose to purchase the unit and let us manage it on behalf of them. It just makes our operational life a lot easier.
Cool, cool, cool. Could you tell me where the next countries will be? So after Los Angeles, I presume, or when would you know?
Well,
Sounds like that's a secret that maybe you don't want to divulge.
Exactly. We have plans. We've already said that we need to be in, 25 countries in the next few years. So, that's part of our kind of KPIs, Jane and myself, that not only do we want to promote the projects that we already have in place, but also to look for new locations around the world. So if anybody has any potential, projects or land or destination, please come to us as well.
I'm just gonna kind of segue into something. So, I used to, for those of you who do know, I used to be an investment banker. You travel around, stay in nice hotels. But once you become an entrepreneur, you're really cost conscious. And quite frankly, if you're in your hotel all day, you're not really on a business trip. That's a vacation. And, the rate at which the world has gotten more global, people travel more, you have to have meetings. And, the lack of that type of hotel where you feel good about it, you sleep well, good sheets, but you're actually only there 8 hours a night. I'll stay, even now when I travel, I'll stay at, even on vacation, I'll stay at nice hotels, for example, and I always have to go to 7-Eleven to buy my little chips and water. And these are things that are not really thought out for the environment we're in now. The hotel product was an environment for the 90s and 2000s. Now it's different, right? You want, different things. And it's an amazing business idea, in these markets that are heavily trafficked.
And we always like to say that, I'm from the hospitality industry. So we know that the 3-star mid-scale segment is actually the most resilient to bad markets, right? It's almost like alcohol. When the market isn't doing well, 3-star travelers still travel. 4 or 5-star travelers will actually downgrade and stay in a 3-star. So the 3-star segment is always the cash cow, is the one that's always most resilient to anything bad happening in the market.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, let's see what other questions we have. Okay, sorry, this. All right. Okay, here we go. This is a good question. How do you I mean, I sort of think I can even answer this, but how do you choose which units to rent out? Would we be in the know? Because there's a possibility that we fall in the 15%. Okay, so we answered that. That was the first question that was answered. Different units. I think we're good. Oh, here we go. What is the typical occupancy rate near Hotel 101 Madrid?
Yeah, so we actually get data from STR, and today we were just looking at some data. The average occupancy that we're seeing right now in Madrid is about the high 70s, okay? There are times in Madrid, and you'll see in our research deck, where when there are certain, convention centers, events, occupancy level hits like 95%. And so us, we always say, let's, try to be conservative. When you're looking at our projections, use kind of realistic measures. So we always say stay around the 70 to 80%. But for our hotels historically, we've always hit 80, 85% average.
I mean, you probably know all of this, but because we're kind of in adjacent businesses, that one of the big trends that we see is, people can't afford to live in the big cities, right? And so there's a trend, also this work from home, trend where, they can live an hour away, but sometimes when they come to work, they need to live cheaply. Maybe you miss your train, you can't catch the Uber, and this is a good solution for that, that kind of hybrid work model. So it's awesome. Now we're getting into questions that I find interesting also. So 30% of room rent revenues or hotel revenues, including F&B.
Oh, that's a great question. Unfortunately, it doesn't. It's just purely room revenue. And the reason is because all the F&B and retail, we consign it out. So we let others manage it. So yeah, that isn't.
Here's a very important question. Can the unit owner sell the unit in the future? Are there any restrictions?
No, there's no restrictions. Essentially you own a 21 square meter, title deed to a unit. So you can sell it at any time. The only thing that we ask for is a first right of refusal. And that's only really to protect all the unit owners, right? So let's say, Donald, you hit a bad year and you suddenly need to sell your unit, a flash sale, for significantly less than what you bought it at. In those situations, we will probably buy it back from you because we don't want the market to suddenly have someone who's marketing out the unit at a very low rate. So that's really why that first right of refusal was implemented.
Got it. Okay, I see. I was curious, like, how would the market know if there's a private sale that went through? You'd have to approve all sales, is that correct? The right of first refusal. Okay. Given, inflation is kind of on everybody's mind, like how has the pricing been since you launched till now? Have you seen a move up in the cost?
Okay, so this product provides an inflationary hedge because you as a unit investor, you want inflation to go up. You want your average daily rate of hotel room rates to go up because that's the only thing you participate in. Cost keeps going up, but we bear all the risk of the cost going up because we're paying for all the costs.
Got it. I see. So for example, for those in our audience that, delayed their decision to invest in your product, say in 6 months, would that pricing change in 6 months?
Yes, we're actually increasing prices October 1st. So
well, there
yeah,
is a
very good question.
Yes, October 1st. I'm going to highlight this. Now, I'm going to jump in really quickly about kind of maybe ways that we can help. So, pure financing, we've kind of explored this a little bit. Niseko, there is no financing anywhere. So the payment option is amazing what you're doing. Madrid is very difficult for us. The US, we're kind of investigating. But one thing that we've done is that, our investors are global investors. Most of them are real estate related. And because home prices have gone up so much in the last period, decade, 5 years, 10 years, that a lot of homes have no debt. So what we've been able to do is pull out equity from existing homes. And I'm really talking about the US, UK, Australia. We've been able to refinance, cash out equity or cash out bridging loans, use that money to actually fund the purchase of your investment. And a lot of that has to do with these time restrictions. October 1st is a good deadline. What do you know how much the prices will increase then?
So for Madrid, we'll increase by 10,000 euros. And for Niseko, we will increase by 500,000 yen.
Okay. All right. So anybody who wants more details on kind of what I just said and how the mechanics work, feel free to email me. My contact details are on the chat. First, I want to thank our esteemed guests, Catherine and Jane, for providing such an in-depth and thoughtful and concise presentation. Again, Niseko, we all know, is like one of the hottest, cities at the moment. Madrid is right there. I think it's a little underappreciated, to be honest with you. After I went there, I think it's only a matter of time people kind of come to this. And you're in a space that is you could feel the tightness in that market. And I think it's really good for people looking for, rental cash flow to diversify, their investments. So with that said, I want to say thank you to the audience. I'm going to kind of say my piece and then we can log off once, you say your goodbyes to the audience.
All right. Thank you so much. Again, Global Mortgage Group, thank you so much for the opportunity. We really enjoyed ourselves. So, hopefully we get to do this more often. So thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you, everyone. Really, I think I had a great time today as well. And thank you, Donald, for chipping in and helping out, to ask some of the questions that I'm sure many of the investors are curious to know about. Yeah.
You're welcome. Thank you, everybody. Have a good evening and look forward to, getting your emails and answering more questions after we send the thank you letter to everybody. Thanks. Have a good evening.
Good night.
Bye.